So tell us about the picture a little bit, Ryan. Should the picture be any different? Should it have any other characteristics for
Yeah, I
mobile?
mean, uh, really, a couple things, right? I mean, it's all basic. Obviously, Amazon's very restrictive, and people argue with that all the time. Like, you can't do certain things. Obviously, you see people do certain things, certain categories, especially competitive categories, right? And so you can kind of bend the rules a little bit or enter that gray zone a bit, obviously, and what you put in your image. But obviously, it has to be in a white background. You want it, so many pixels, so it's zoomable if someone does click into the listing and such. But you really want to optimize as much of that white space as possible, right? So a couple things, right? Again, we just actually worked with we work now with a keto and granola bar I mentioned as an example earlier. And they had a 6-pack listing, right? And their 6-pack listing was originally just like their retail store display. If you can imagine the box like a CVS or a Walgreens, it would be on the shelf that you pull back the cardboard and someone can reach in and grab one bar, right? That was their main Amazon listing, right? And obviously just doesn't really come across fantastic as like looking at that from especially on mobile. I mean, and we actually did it before and after and looked at it, and the team were like, oh my gosh, look at this, is night and day. So it doesn't it lists a lot of value for the customer, right? So it was a 6-pack, and so what we did is we actually lightened or kind of lightened 6 bars on the wrappers and put them across the image, just kind of in the background. So the 6 bars, which were again kind of a very light shade, all of them were across the background and then across the front, or might have been 5, and then the 6th was across, I can't remember, diagonal with an open bar, and you could see the actual bar coming out of the wrapper, so you could see the bar. I mean, it was such a much better you know for experience for the end customer, right? Again, if I'm the dad here busy in the kitchen in the morning trying to buy those bars, I'm going to much more likely click into that listing than I am a listing of maybe a retail box of scrolling past it, even if it meets, hey, price point looks great, reviews look great. I don't know, this it doesn't look like the most appealing kind of listing, and you only get one shot from the SERP, right? Obviously people can't go back, but like you can only get one shot. So you don't want someone scrolling past your listing going to the next one. So again, maximizing all that white space, showing, again, the granola bar one's a great example. Even doing things like changing your label if possible, or mocking up a label and having like as much benefit on the label as possible, or even the name. What drives me absolutely crazy, or the main benefit, is like some of these brands will have won't even say what the product is, maybe on the label or on the box, whatever it may be on the product, if it's that type of product, because we deal a lot with CPG. And so the customer needs to kind of see what the name is and see what that value is right there in the packaging. You see some brands do it really well. The supplement brands that do it really well it's a good example to look at if you want to see any examples, but like some brands put in big letters there, the name, the benefit, so you can see that right from SERP, right? And you're not having to scan the title, look at everything else. So you're instantly like, yes, that's what it is. And literally a second in your head, making you much more likely to click into that listing.
Yeah, I picked up 2 things from this, and I actually, one is common sense, and the other one is so easy to miss because you're too close to the subject matter. So the
Yep.
first one is maximize the white space. So fill that white space with your product as much as possible, because the mobile is already small, and depending on the kind of phone they have and the screen size, it's already small. And then within that, you have so much width, and so much of that width is taken up by image, so it's even smaller. So if you are not utilizing most of that white space, it's not, you're missing the opportunity. So that's one. But the second one is so easy to miss because it's your product, and
Yep.
you don't say what the product is on the packaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Yep.
put taglines and things. I mean, like, everybody knows what Nike is, but you're not Nike yet, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
putting "just do it" under it, what is that? Just do what exactly? So, right? So if nobody knows the product, or not as many people know the product, so it's so easy to miss. And that's, of course, this is not a picture question, but that's what's going to be in the picture, right? So
Yeah.
redesign packaging.
Yep. Yep.
Cool.
And that's, I mean, it's easier said than done, but like, especially if, you know, if you're in a lot of channels, right? You're in retail, you've got all these, you know, you spend a lot of money and
Yeah,
time and resources already developing packaging, but it's something to look for the, if you're thinking about redoing your packaging or you're launching a new product or new line, even like think about an e-commerce first, and you know, not just Amazon, but I mean, Amazon's where the traffic is. So think about an Amazon first mentality of how can we optimize this packaging on Amazon.